Hey, in today's video, I'm talking about 6 drinks you should never have because they're gonna stop your ability to burn fat for fuel. They're gonna throw off your cellular energy production, throw off your hormones, causing an increase in visceral fat, this dangerous fat that chokes off blood supply to organs, increases inflammation, increases skin aging, wrinkles, fine lines. It also causes more joint pain in your body and causes digestive problems. So you want to avoid these things. I'm going to go through that. I'm also going to talk about the best foods to consume in order to burn fat, in order to improve cellular energy production, balance your hormones, and really age gracefully. So let's talk about the first drink you want to avoid. That's going to be soy milk. Now, soy milk has been thought of for many years as a healthy food, heart healthy because it's low in saturated fat. Well, if you watched any of my videos, you know saturated fat is not a boogeyman. In fact, it actually can be very beneficial. And the reason why soy milk is not good for you is number one, 93% of the soybeans that are used in America are genetically modified. When they're genetically modified, those compounds that we're consuming actually impact and interfere with our genetic structure. And on top of that, they're also high in glyphosate. And glyphosate is this herbicide that poisons our mitochondria. In particular, it damages the gut lining and damages the microbiome, and that causes more inflammation in our body. On top of that, soy milk is really high in lectins, as well as oxalates, as well as phytic acids. Phytic acids will actually they're going to cause us to not absorb minerals like magnesium and zinc and iron as effectively. Lectins can cause more gut inflammation. Oxalates can cause more gut inflammation, as well as neurological issues and kidney stones. In fact, the kidney stone is a calcium oxalate stone. If you've got, any sort of predisposition to kidney stones, most likely it's going to be due to higher oxalate foods. So you want to avoid your soy milk, your nuts in general, as much as possible, but particularly soy milk, high in oxalates, high in lectins, high in phytic acids. So we want to make sure we're avoiding that. There's also enzyme inhibitors in there, like tyrosine kinase inhibitors. And so when they block tyrosine kinase, that's really critical for memory formation in the brain. So high soy consumption has been linked with higher risks of dementia and Alzheimer's disease. So we want to make sure we're avoiding the soy milk. We want to make sure that we're avoiding fruit juices, concentrated fruit juice. So I'm a fan of fruit in general. If you eat an apple, you eat an orange, you're getting a lot of fiber, fresh phytonutrients. You're also getting the structured water that's in there. It can be really beneficial as long as you're eating a blood sugar stabilizing diet in general. I don't recommend naked carbs. What are naked carbs? That means consuming fruit all by itself. That's a naked carb. It's going to spike your blood sugar and your insulin. And it's even worse if it's in a juice form because now we take the fiber out. So a fruit juice is just kind of like this massive load of fructose, the sugar that's in fruit. And that poisons the mitochondria. We can handle some of the fructose, but when we get a massive load all at once, it poisons the mitochondria, so you can't produce good cellular energy. And that increases uric acid levels, which are linked with fatty liver disease, linked with gout, linked with hypertension, linked with dementia. So that big flush of fructose that we get from fruit juices is literally like poison to the cellular energy producing machines, the mitochondria within our cells. So really important that we're avoiding concentrated fruit juice. I don't recommend orange juice or really any sort of concentrated fruit juice. Another one we want to avoid is sports drinks. This is going to be things like Gatorade and Powerade. It might be marketed. When I was a kid, I used to think that was really healthy, but it's not. They're loaded with artificial dyes, sugars, and preservatives that are terrible for you. The best benefit of the Gatorade is actually the water and the salt. That's actually where people are getting the benefits. The salt that's in there is, sodium. It's an electrolyte that if you're sweating, you're losing sodium, you're losing water. But the water they're using is also not really well filtered. So it's gonna have fluoride in there, chlorine. It's not a good quality, really good quality reverse osmosis water. And they're in plastic bottles. And so now you get microplastics in there as well, especially if you're out, drinking a sports drink while you're playing soccer or you're working out or you're outside somewhere, and the heat will actually cause the plastic bottle to leach more microplastics into the Gatorade or the Powerade. So avoid that. Much better to just make your own electrolyte drink. You can even just use some salt water or like take lemon, squeeze lemon, put like a teaspoon of baking soda and a little bit of regular salt in there, and that can work well. Or you can use a pre-made electrolyte drink from a good company, something like Element, which is what I personally use. That can work really, really well. And I'll have a link in the show notes for the Element that I personally use as an electrolyte drink. Another one that's commonly marketed as really healthy is kombucha. Kombucha, you'll see this out there, right? A lot of people will drink kombuchas and talk about it. But did you know they're really high in sugar? In fact, a lot of the kombuchas, if you were to drink the whole bottle, it's like 30 grams of sugar. Now, it does have probiotics and postbiotics that have beneficial properties that are beneficial for you, but it's also really high in sugar. And so we want something that's low sugar. Or if you do get a kombucha, at least like just take a tablespoon of it and add it to water. So you're not getting a whole lot of the sugar, but you're still getting some of the good probiotics and postbiotics without all the sugar that's coming in on it, right? And so that would be key there with the kombucha. Just have it more diluted than what you're gonna get when you buy it in a store. And then finally, the last one is almond milk. Now, almond milk, again, a lot of people think this is really healthy, but most of the almond milks out there are really high in sugar. You can get unsweetened that's low in sugar, but it's still high in something called carrageenan, which is kind of this emulsifying kind of thickening agent that damages the gut. And so we want to avoid carrageenan. Also, almond milk is high in oxalates that damage gut inflammation in general. They throw off your gut microbiome. They increase joint pain and brain function and increase your risk of kidney stones, like I was talking about earlier. And then finally, diet drinks. So diet drinks are high in chemicals like aspartame, Splenda. These are chemical-based agents that damage the gut microbiome and nervous system, and they increase the risk of weight gain, autoimmune conditions, headaches, and neurological problems. Now, we want to avoid all those things, right? But let me go into what we can eat instead to burn fat for fuel. Here are my top foods: eggs, especially egg yolks. I call it Mother Nature's multivitamin, rich in B vitamins, rich in fat-soluble vitamin A, retinol, rich in choline, which is really important for good bile flow, as well as good brain function. A lot of phospholipids that are in eggs, really important for cell membrane health, which is important for hormones, right? Testosterone, estrogen, progesterone, thyroid. We need those phospholipids for that. So eggs are super good. If you're worried about the cholesterol in eggs, don't worry, because eggs have been shown to lower triglyceride levels, circulating fat, and they increase HDL, the good cholesterol. So your HDL to triglyceride ratio is really, when you're looking at lipids, you're looking at cholesterol, that's what you want to focus on. How many triglycerides, how many HDL? That ratio should always be under 2. And ideally, your triglycerides should always be under 100. Your HDL should always be over 50. And so if your triglyceride HDL ratio is close to 1 or under 2, you're doing fine. And eggs may increase your LDL cholesterol a little bit. That's because we need more buses. LDL is like a bus that's pulling fat, right? And pulling fat-soluble nutrients like vitamin A, vitamin E, vitamin D, and bringing it to the cell membrane. So we need more of these buses because we're getting more of these powerful fat-soluble nutrients. We need to bring them to the cell membrane. HDL is bringing them back to the liver, right? And so high HDL is key, low triglycerides, that's key. Now, one thing with eggs is you don't want to overcook eggs, right? So having them like sunny side up or over easy or something along those lines, that's going to be beneficial, especially if you can keep the yolk a little bit runny. You're going to get more of those fat-soluble nutrients in there, and that's really beneficial. Beneficial way to eat eggs to get more nutrient absorption. So that's my first food. Number 2 is grass-fed red meats. This is going to be your grass-fed beef, your lamb, your bison, all really, really good. Very rich in things like conjugate and linoleic acid, which is great for your metabolism, helps turn on fat burning. Also great for your immune system as well. Grass-fed meats, red meats are also rich in carnitine. Carnitine helps to shuttle fatty acids into the mitochondria where they can be used for energy. If you're deficient in carnitine, and you think about carnitine, the name of it, carnivore, right? And so it's like that comes in animal foods, particularly grass-fed red meats. That is super key. A lot of people can't burn fat because they don't have enough carnitine in their system. Carnitine will help you burn fat. Also, carnosine that's in grass-fed red meats. Carnosine is like, it's an antioxidant. So we think about antioxidants, we think about colorful fruits and vegetables, but actually red meat has its own antioxidant. It's called carnosine. Carnosine protects your muscle tissue from oxidation. So it's great for exercise recovery. It's great for just keeping you young and youthful. And you're gonna get that in your grass-fed red meat. You're gonna get your carnosine. Also, it's gonna have things like zinc and B vitamins, vitamin B12 that are in there, iron that's in the grass-fed red meat, as well as good quality protein that's gonna stabilize your blood sugar, healthy fats, healthy omega-3 fats, as well as good quality saturated and monounsaturated fats that are going to create new healthy cell membranes. The healthier your cell membranes, the healthier your hormones, your estrogen, testosterone, progesterone, thyroid, the better they're gonna be able to function, the better you're gonna be able to burn fat for fuel. Grass-fed red meat provides the nutrients you need for healthy cell membranes and healthy hormone function. Also, organic dairy, in particular butter, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, and raw cheeses. What's in that? That's gonna have conjugated linoleic acid. It's gonna have good quality protein in the Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, and raw cheese. Butter doesn't have the protein, but butter does have vitamin D, vitamin K2, which are great for calcium metabolism. It's also a very rich source of something called fatty 15, this type of fat that helps pull seed oils, these linoleic acid metabolites in seed oils out of the mitochondrial membrane as well as the cell membrane. So it helps repair the cell membrane. And that's what organic dairy does. Again, better cell membranes, better hormone function, better testosterone, better estrogen, better progesterone. What does that mean to you? That means better fat burning. That means better libido. That means better energy, better mental clarity, all those things. Super important. We got to have the hormones in order to have those desired results. Organic dairy, as long as you don't have an allergy or a sensitivity to it, can be really helpful because it's going to repair those cell membranes. So we want to focus on that. Also, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, great source of protein for blood sugar stability, for building lean body tissue, muscle and bone tissue. So we want to consume that. I also like wild-caught salmon, or really wild-caught seafood in general, with sockeye salmon being my favorite. The reason why wild-caught sockeye salmon is so good, it's rich in long-chain omega-3 fats, EPA and DHA, which are so critical for cell membrane function, so critical for healthy hormones. Also, you have astaxanthin that's in wild-caught salmon. Astaxanthin is what gives it its pink color. The salmon naturally eat things like krill and red algae that are rich in astaxanthin. When they eat that, they get this powerful antioxidant in their tissue. That astaxanthin is kind of like carnosine for the red meat. It protects the muscle tissue. So the salmon are able to swim upstream against the rapids, jump up to 10 feet out of the water. Why are they able to do that? Because they have incredible mitochondrial energy production. That's credit to the omega-3 fats as well as the astaxanthin, allowing them to produce a lot of energy quickly in an anaerobic state, and they're able to produce that energy and buffer the free radicals with the astaxanthin. So when we consume wild-caught seafood, wild-caught salmon, we're gonna be able to confer a lot of those benefits and get that astaxanthin into our system as well. The next great food is avocados. Avocados are rich in carotenoid antioxidants like lutein and zeaxanthin. That's great for protecting our cells against oxidative stress. Avocados are also rich in a type of sugar, heptylomannulose sugar, that actually protects the collagen tissue. It helps with good, healthy collagen for great skin health. So less wrinkles, less fine lines. Some of the people that I see that age, like it looks like their skin hasn't aged. They might be in their 60s, but they look like they're in their 40s, are people who eat avocados on a regular basis. And I think it has to do with the lutein, the zeaxanthin, as well as the heptylomannulose sugar that's in there that supports the epidermis of the skin. So consuming avocados are great. They also have phytosterols in there that are really good for lipid metabolism. Also good prebiotics that support your gut microbiome, and healthy monounsaturated fats that resist oxidative stress and really are a key part of a healthy cell membrane. And so avocados are a great plant-based food to consume. And then extra virgin olive oil as well. Extra virgin olive oil, particularly high polyphenol extra virgin olive oil. It's going to be rich in monounsaturated fats as well as vitamin E, but the real magic is in the polyphenols, things like oleocanthols, which they call nature's ibuprofen. Very powerful at reducing inflammation in the body. You've also got things like hydroxytyrosol, which crosses the blood-brain barrier. And that hydroxytyrosol reduces inflammation in the brain and helps support brain tissue healing. And so it helps prevent against things like dementia and Alzheimer's disease, and really helps support overall good brain function. So consuming extra virgin olive oil, avocados on a regular basis, really great stuff. In general, what you want to focus on are a high protein diet, getting 30 to 50 grams of high quality protein, ideally from grass-fed animal sources, pasture-raised eggs, organic dairy, and wild-caught seafood. That's where you're going to get your best protein. And then on top of that, you want to make sure that you're consuming healthy fats. That's going to be coming from your extra virgin olive oil, your avocados, your grass-fed animal products, all good sources of healthy fat, grass-fed butter, as well as coconut oil. That can also be a good fat source. And then colorful fruits and vegetables. Getting colorful fruits and vegetables up to your tolerance point, the amount that you can consume and feel good with. Some people, if they consume too much plant foods, don't feel good. Others feel good with them. So colorful fruits and vegetables can be really helpful for an anti-aging, high energy, fat burning diet and lifestyle. So focus on those foods and you're gonna do really well. Please share this video with anybody that you know and that you care about. We'll see you in one of these future video trainings. Be blessed.